And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Unprofessionals, where we don't even start on time. I'm joined by my co-host, the Undoomed.
Hey, moron. Fucking moron.
I'm really getting tired of that catchphrase. I'm getting fucking tired of it.
Well, I'll get used to
it. Oh, man. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the current year. Hopefully it is better than the last current year.
Yeah. How you doing, chat?
Oh, looks like we have a wild Jeff Holiday has popped up in the chat to re-us.
Oh, he's reeing.
Yes,
You're reeing in the new year. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. And we have all kinds of shit going on and, really important political things and social things. So I thought I'd have Undoomed on to not talk about any of that. Yeah. And just be really unprofessional and bullshit with my very good internet friend.
Yeah. Because, I'm drunk.
That's like, is it one of those drunks that started late, like last night, and it just kept going, or
it is? Yeah. I'm an insomniac, as you know, and it was fucking New Year's, and then I couldn't sleep, so I'm still there.
Right? Yeah. So you couldn't even sleep it off. So you just kept on pouring until the sun came up.
Yeah, pretty much. And Miss Undoomed is here, and she fell away and dozed off, and I'm still not fucking tired. That's just the way it is with being an insomniac. So
yeah,
I'm different. Figured maybe you could put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm good at. I mean, obviously, that's why my channel doesn't grow. I'm fucking boring. People turn the GOG on to fucking fall asleep. Now, I am not in the same position as you. I last night slept like a baby, which means I cried a lot and shit myself.
Huh. That is both encouraging and horrible at the same time.
Oh yes, gotta love it, right? So anyway, yeah, what's been going on? What are your big plans for 2019, current year?
Current year? Is it current year again? Jesus, they keep coming up every year.
Just slow down, time.
Unbelievable.
God, slow down, time.
Yeah.
Let's catch a fucking break. God.
Yeah, it's like current year. That's so last year.
I know. Like I was on Twitter this morning. Well, I saw it last night, but I call it this morning because it was like 1 a.m, right? And I sat there and I was like, "Wow, 2019, Happy New Year, everybody!" So I got on Twitter to tweet out a Happy New Year, and then I saw it. And it said Elizabeth Warren is going to run is going to run for president. I said, "Fuck, it's already started. It's already begun."
Yeah, you saw my tweet, right?
Which one?
About Elizabeth Warren.
I may have, but once again,
no, it's just nothing special. It's just when I saw it, I was like, I put Elizabeth Warren for Big Chief.
Oh, that's the one. Okay, yeah.
And then the classical.
Oh yeah, the crying Indian.
Crying Indian.
Yeah, that I remember it now. Yeah, it just got confused because a lot of people have been tweeting that GIF of the crying Indian at her. It's so
I can imagine. I can imagine everyone used that one.
I tweeted out that she's forming an exploratory committee to run for 1/1024th of the presidency.
Yeah, that works too. And basically, his tear that he's crying there is also 1/124,000 real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's so funny about that GIF is that he's not Indian.
I know that makes it even better.
He's fucking.
Actually, I would say that's the whole point.
Right, yeah, it's Iron Eyes Cody was Italian, but because he did so much to help Indian representation in films, that they did give him an honorary place. I think the Cherokee Nation gave him an honorary place. So still more Indian than she is.
So it's like, what do they call it? What do they call it when, like sort of an honorary doctor, right?
Yeah, I mean that's
honorary Indian,
right.
Or is there some sort of Latin word for that?
I have no idea. I really.
Okay, well, whatever.
I don't speak Latin.
I don't speak Latin, but I speak taco.
Yeah, I don't even speak English good. So.
Now, who does that anymore? That's so last year.
So, but yeah, fucking Iron Eyes Cody at least has a star on the Walk of Fame and shit. She's got nothing, man. It's so funny. Oh god. Now, I think the exploratory committee that she is forming to see if she's going to run for president, because honestly, she hasn't announced yet. Obviously, this was more of a exploring the option. And I think that her committee is going to look at the Twitter comments of her post and tell her, no, don't do it. I honestly think that's how it's going to go down. They should really just push her to the side, throw her in the dustbin, and get that Alexandria Ocasio-Cartel. That's her name, right? Cartel.
Yeah, that's what I call her too.
Yeah. That's because we're at
oil cartel.
She's way too young, hasn't even taken her seat at Congress officially yet, and she's still just one of the worst people I've ever seen in my life. And it's not even the socialism. She's stupider than dog shit. I mean, God.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn.
I've seen some stupid tweets from her. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's already been hit with an ethics violation for threatening Trump Jr.
She just stepped right up there and like, I'm gonna out Trump.
Yeah, she's in there going, I'm gonna subpoena you. Basically, she was like, you shouldn't be threatening somebody who's gonna have subpoena powers. I'm like, you dumb bitch. Like, why the fuck would you say that? Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious, man! And the fact that she lied where she grew up, it's like she's like, I grew up in the Bronx, like she's some sort of poor person. Like the neighborhood she grew up in had like the average household income for her neighborhood was $1.2 million. Bitch, you had maids. You weren't the maid. You had maids.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And just the insanity of trying to out Trump when he's the president.
Oh yeah, no, that's
I'm
sorry. Whether you like him or not, can we at least recognize that one of the greatest internet trolls to come into existence is also the president of the United States?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I certainly don't agree with everything he does, and there are some things he says that are like, whoa, did that just come out of your mouth? But you gotta just respect the fact that he's like the king of trolls.
Oh yeah, I saw a tweet he did on like yesterday or the day before where he was like, we're gonna build the wall and Mexico is gonna pay for it. And how? All the money we're saving on the new NAFTA deal. That's how Mexico's paid for it. And I'm like, you sly motherfucker. Like, people thought he was going to get them to cut a check or something. And then he comes out, he's like, that's how we're paying for it. We're saving a lot more money in our trade deals with them. And it's like, and they're like, that's not what you said. Yeah, but he didn't say how they were going to pay for it. Like, you sly devil. I mean, you're a fucking idiot, but you're sly. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, he's got that sort of like, I guess it's street smart.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's not smart, but he's street smart.
I'd say he's smart. I just don't think that he's as dumb as they say he is, but I also don't think he's like as smart as like other presidents. Like some presidents are economics experts and ex fucking like foreign intelligence agencies and shit like that. Like George W. Sr., who recently passed away, he was an intelligence guy. That's what he did before he was president.
He was director of the CIA, right?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that guy had some fucking know-how. So I mean, it's kind of like trying to compare somebody like to somebody who's like really good at fixing cars and can rebuild an engine from the ground up, smart. Well, yeah, they may not be like some Harvard elitist, but they're pretty smart in what they do. And I think Trump is smart in what he does, and that's business.
Right.
You can't tell me you become a billionaire out of just pure dumb luck. No, he's had failures. He's bounced back from those failures. You know, like that. He knows how to fucking play the game. It may not be a game that you like. We're not sitting here praising him 100%. I'm no MAGA hat wearing, sycophant. But I just, one of my biggest hopes.
I just like it when he triggers all the snowflakes.
Oh, yeah, I do too. And then
That's basically the best thing about him.
Can we talk about that for a second? What is it with in 2018, the left tried to take back the word snowflake and use it to describe other people on the center and the right?
Well, that's pretty much what they do, though. I mean, it's in their DNA. You have your gay was a derogatory term, and they grabbed it and made it their own. I guess you can. You should respect him for that, I guess.
Yeah, but what is this, a fucking elementary school playground? You're a poopy head. No, you're a poopy head.
Well, it's not that simple. I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with what they're doing, but I'm just saying it's somewhat impressive to take a word, because it's not that they're taking it and saying, poopy head back. They're saying, well, from now on, poopy head is actually going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, some of them do that. But here's the difference. When they took back gay, they made it into something, a pride word, right? Like, we're proud to be gay. This is different. They took back snowflake to use it to describe their enemies. They didn't take it back to be like, okay, I am a snowflake. That's a positive thing. No, they were like, no, you're the snowflakes.
Okay, well, that just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. And I was just like, I kept seeing that in 2018, where it's like, I'll watch some guys.
What they should have done is the actual gay tactic. They should have owned it. They should have said, yeah, we're snowflakes and we're fucking proud of it.
Yeah,
that could have worked.
That could have worked, because when bullies don't like it when you just accept what they're saying. It totally so like I would have loved it if some like fucking SJW YouTuber came on one of their videos dressed as a snowflake, just like a Christmas costume that you'd see, just a giant snowflake costume.
Right. That probably would have been more effective.
Right. Nate Edwards in the chat says, talk about race realism. Let's start the new year off with unity. No.
Whoa, those two seem kind of incongruous.
You're right. Sorry, Nate, but I have to let you know something. Social media came out and taught us all to come together, and then made us realize there really wasn't any reason for us to come together.
Yeah, we should stay the fuck away from each other. That's basically what we've learned from social media this far.
And Dragon in the West says Cortez is a socialite socialist. Definitely one of those champagne show socialists.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. She can play up the whole like minority card all she wants.
Can we try to get a third socialist word in there? Get a trifecta. Can we do that?
Like, I love the meme with the guy who has like the communist shirt on, the hammer and sickle, and he's like, I'm for the working man. And then there's this construction worker there. He's got the hat on. He's all dirty. And he was like, well, I'm glad to hear it. Put it there, pal. And he hands out his hand. And then the third panel shows the guy with the shirt on. He's doing this like disgusting face looking at the hand, like, ugh, I'm not going to shake your hand. To me, that just like totally sums up socialists and Marxists and because it's all an elitist type of ideology, isn't it?
Yeah, how the fuck are you supposed to afford to being a socialist anyhow?
Right, like
you have to be upper middle class.
For some reason in the West, at least, maybe in other countries it's different, but in the West, you don't go to then it's pure
like desperation.
Yeah, but it's always these like middle to upper middle class, like wealthy people that buy into this ideology. It's very elitist, isn't it? It's like college campus. I'm rich, I'm educated, and they fall for this shit. You never go to like a trailer park or the ghetto and be like, "What, you guys socialists?" They're like, "What the fuck is that? I don't even know what the fuck that means. Get the fuck out of here with your fancy $2 words." You know, the fuck you call me? You know,
the fuck are you talking to me, eh?
The real working man doesn't even have time to think about socialism because he's busy working.
Yeah. Holy shit. He got enough on his plate just to get food on his plate.
Yeah, man. He's just sitting there trying to feed his kids and take care of his family and shit and bring home a decent wage and pay for his mortgage and his car payments and all that stuff. And you're going to come up to the man and be like, "You're being oppressed by the system." Like,
yeah, this is what I don't like about today's system. Nothing is you can't trust anything anymore. You know?
No, I can't even trust capitalism at this point, man, because all these big corporations are really fucking us.
I know. Exactly. You can't trust anything. You can't trust the corporations wanting to just make money.
Yeah.
Because
That's
what they're supposed to do, but instead they're just trying to sell some propaganda.
I swear to God, Undoomed. Okay, I swear to God, in the 80s, if you had walked into like the boardroom of a massive corporation and there's the CEO and all the board of directors, and you were like, "Sir, we need to just not care about profits and get in line with the politics of the day," they probably would have thrown you out the fucking window.
Pretty much.
Did that guy just say ignore profits?
The only time that...
Fuck the witch!
Yeah, the only time that would ever happen in the 80s is in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Right?
It's,
yeah.
It's like the only
it's
time
like that's like when the CEO realized he fucked up cutting bonus checks and was just kind of like, "Okay, fuck profits, I'll give everybody the bonus," you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I mean, you know, people watched the ending of that movie that owned corporations back then were probably like, "Yeah, right, that wouldn't happen to me."
No, but I mean, in reality, of course, they looked out for profit, and you know that's a safekeeping thing.
You know what? I kind of just miss the days when corporations fucked their employees over instead of their customers.
Yeah, because then you knew where you had them.
Right? You know, it's like now corporations are afraid of their employees, so they fuck over the customers. It's weird. It's like their employees rise up and they're like, "We want social justice. We want to end hate. We want to play that." And they're like, "Our people are fucking crazy. The people we've hired are fucking crazy. Let's just do what they say." Obviously that's a joke. I don't like it when corporations fuck their employees. I've been there. I've been fucked by retail. Like, fucking Walmart sucked. I worked at Walmart. They didn't care about anybody. After Sam Walton died and his family took over, Walmart didn't care about the employees.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck. They cut bonuses. They cut health care. They didn't give a fuck about their employees whatsoever. They overworked everybody. It was just a greedy ass fucking family, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can fight that, you know. Employees can go on strike. They can get HR, you know. A lot of companies have HR and stuff now and stuff like that. But when they start fucking the employees over, but still maintaining their power structures, like, that's crazy to me. Like, how long is it going to be before we truly are living in some Orwellian dystopian cyberpunk world, you know?
Are you serious? We're already there.
No, I mean worse. I mean, we're on the way there if we don't stand up, man. I mean, because, like, it's not even the Patreon thing. Now that all this stuff is coming out about, like, MasterCard and PayPal, like, the financial institutions are going, "Yeah, we don't like that guy. Don't give him a credit card anymore." Or, yeah, like, what the fuck? The fuck is going on?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but what I meant was actually dystopian. You know, I mean, I feel what you're saying, but we're not quite there yet. I'm waiting for, like, the Google robots to be patrolling the streets, you know?
Well, I guess they're starting with the cars.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Speaking of that, I had that idea. I thought about doing a series of cyberpunk art pieces. You know, because like a big part of cyberpunk is like there's the big corporations, the big evil corporations run everything, right?
Right.
But then there's always like the street punks that are fighting against the system. So I thought about doing this series of artwork where like the street punks all had like cyberpunk, like glowing bits, like on fucking Tron, you know, like their jackets have neon lights on them. The different gangs are like the alternate platforms. So like one of them has like the fucking Yakuza jacket on, but on the back.
Hold on.
Like,
have you heard of a writer called Max Berry?
I've heard the name.
Oh my God, you need to read those books.
That'd be what? Do you know the names of them? Let me Google this.
I remember one book called Jennifer Government.
Okay, yeah.
You see it?
Yep. I was spelling Barry wrong. That's why it wasn't popping up. But as soon as I put Jennifer Government in, it popped up.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's hilarious. It's really funny, and it basically people take they take the name of the company they're working for. So you're not called Bob Smith anymore. You're called Bob Nike or Bob McDonald, or
Right. I get what you're saying.
It's really like sort of dystopian future, but it's not really about the future in that sense. It's more like 20 minutes into the future.
Right. I get what you're saying. No, I just had this idea of doing some dystopian cyberpunk artwork because I love that kind of art style with the glowing lights and the robotic arms and things like that, and have these like street punks whose gangs are the modern day alternative website symbols fighting like big, robots that were built by like Patreon and Google and PayPal and shit in the streets,
Right.
Like laser blasters and shit fighting the big evil corporations and the neon signs everywhere and stuff. You'd have like one guy have a jacket on and there's like a frog on the back for Gab. And then you can have one guy has like the light bulb for Mines, and they're like different gangs, It's just it's cool cyberpunk artwork mixed with social commentary, obviously.
Right. I think I should reread that book, but if you get your hands on it, it's fucking awesome.
I will check it out, but I'm currently reading The Coddling of the American Mind, and I got to finish that first before I read anything.
That sounds more serious.
Oh yeah, it's more it's more in tune with it's more of a academic journal type of reading. It's very heavy in statistics and damn, the last 100 pages of the book are the index for sources. That's how heavy it is. And it's Jonathan Haidt's book and modern day psychologist, and he's really examining the breakdown of education system and the overwhelming radical left culture on college campuses.
Right.
So it's a good read, but it's also real thick with information, so it's kind of hard to read quickly. I have to take it little by little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think you got a super chat there. But
yep. Thomas Coulter says, I hate the powers that be want us to go cashless. Yeah, it's a big worry. And the Engaged Few says, race realism may or may not be real, but it's also irrelevant because even if the IQ race disparities are true, it's no measure of anyone's rights. Yeah, you can't take away people's rights to be fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, you certainly can't do that. And I that's the way I've always looked at it. It's like, even if you can prove that, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, what will you do with that knowledge? Or are you going to start, like, giving smarter people tax breaks, or you gonna euthanize them, or what the hell would you use? What's that good for?
Yeah, what is the point of even if there was science to back up the fact that people of certain ethnicities are dumber by some measurement? Like what's the point? Everybody should still have equal rights. What's the fucking point?
Yeah, we always have to have equal rights. That's it. That's the best we can do. That's the best we can hope for.
Right. And then we also have to, I don't know. I still feel like there's got to be a way to get everybody free hookers. I mean, call me a socialist, but
yeah, and Coke.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly think people would buy into the Marxist socialist communist thing if they gave away free hookers and Coke. They'd get a lot more support, I think, personally. I'm throwing that out there.
Why haven't they considered that?
That's the problem. See, most of these ideologies, Nazism, ethno-nationalism, white supremacy, Marxism, socialism, communism, all of them, they have a real branding problem. Okay? They really do. They got a really bad branding problem. It's a lot of bad colors. They're not very analogous. They're very kind of just, they're kind of very radical in your face colors, like red stars with yellow print. And then, of course, you got like the whole history.
It's been scientifically proven that red and yellow makes you hungry. That doesn't jive well with fucking communist flags.
No, it doesn't.
You gotta get a hold of yourself there.
No, I think that's actually more brilliant, because they're telling people subconsciously, follow us and you'll never go hungry. But then what happens?
Yeah, but that's exactly what happens.
Trickery. It's trickery. It's false advertisement. That's what it is. It's false fucking advertisement.
It should just take those honestly in a Photoshop and press invert.
Let's face it though, okay? The only reason psychologically red and yellow make people hungry is because of McDonald's. Before McDonald's used those colors, nobody probably got hungry seeing red and yellow. But since McDonald's grew to such a size that it literally feeds 1% of the world's population, which is a lot when you're talking about 8 billion people. Yeah, McDonald's is so well known that it's the international fucking sign for food. Yeah. If you're in a strange country, can't speak the language or nothing, just look for the golden arches. You'll be safe. Get some food.
Yeah, in there, they'll probably understand Big Mac.
Right?
Even if you're in Calcutta or something.
Yeah, you don't even have to speak Big Mac. You can just point at the picture. See, I want that one right there. That's why menus have pictures on them. It isn't just to make you hungry by seeing the food. It's to help people who are just like, I can't speak your language, but I want that thing right there.
Right.
And I've been there. I've been traveling through Europe on my way to an Air Force base, and I was fucking hungry, and I didn't know what restaurants were restaurants. I couldn't tell. I didn't know these signs, but then I saw the golden arches, was like, pull over. Pull the fuck over.
No.
So, I mean, I honestly think things like that do change society's psychology over time. I mean, if you really think about it, McDonald's using red and yellow, man, that created that just created that in us. I doubt it existed before that, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, who would have thought, like, there were probably, like, red cars with yellow pinstripes, and people weren't, like, looking at those cars going, man, I'm hungry all of a sudden. But if you see a red car with yellow pinstripes nowadays, you're like, what is that, a McDonald's car? Like, what the fuck?
But the interesting part in that discussion is, did that take that into consideration?
Yeah, I'd like to read the study.
Did they actually say that red and yellow makes you hungry for real, or are they just saying that, well, since that's McDonald's,
Yeah, did they ask the questions? Like, when they showed these people the colors, did they ask, why does it make you hungry?
Yeah, because if it's just, I've seen McDonald's throughout my life, then it's okay. So
yeah, obviously.
Maybe it's just bullshit, but it would be interesting if it actually is like that, the red and yellow makes you hungry.
Well, that's what's so kind of contradictory, in my opinion, to human biology. Because we are programmed to look at bright neon colors like red and yellow as poisonous. We learned that through thousands of years. Thousands of years of fucking evolution.
No. We actually have the ability to see red because we want to be able to distinguish fruits that are ripe and edible.
Yeah, but not that neon.
Neon?
Like that is the brightest of reds and the brightest of yellows. Though I'm talking about the colors combined too. Like very few fruits are red and yellow. You know, apples are red, strawberries are red. You know, that's fine. You know, over here, bananas, yellow, oranges are orange, you know, same color spectrum. But you put those together, those are danger signs. That's why we make danger signs red and yellow, like warning in bright red and yellow.
Oh, I thought they were just all McDonald's commercials.
Yeah, well, McDonald's is poisonous too. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some trickery there. They've got us believing our danger colors are food. No, I get what you're saying because fruits are brightly colored and stuff like that. But man, when it comes to like snakes, poisonous flowers, things like that, we learned a long time ago to stay away from that shit.
And then we learned to kick the shit out of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know. But hey,
there's that.
Somebody who has a more deeper background in psychology can have that argument another day. I think it's an interesting because, yeah, you bring up the fruit thing. That contradicts what I said. That's cool. That's the point of a discussion. But I do know that, you know, really bright fluorescent kind of neon colors in nature have always been kind of warning signs to us. Animals use them to say, keep away. Bright colored snakes and shit, frogs. When, like, have you ever seen like a neon tree frog? And you're watching a video and the guy from the Amazon is like, you see that pretty frog? And the guy's like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. Don't touch it, kill you. You know, like you touch it once, you're dead in 20 seconds. What the fuck kind of frog is that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of animals that can't see that shit.
Well, that's why they're so brightly colored. Is prey animals like frogs who secrete poison, became brightly colored. So one, they can blend in with the jungle because there's a lot of bright colors in the jungle, like a lot of bright greens and flowers and things like that. And two, it's kind of a natural camouflage, but it also can be a warning color, which is why a lot of reptiles change colors. Based on emotion. I had a chameleon one time and he was green, but if you reached in his cage to grab him when he wasn't feeling it, he'd puff up real big and turn black with like yellow spots, bright yellow spots to be like warning, danger, fuck off. You know, like
that's when you get your gun,
right? And he'd hiss at you.
Yeah. You're hiss at me. Yeah. Oh, you're so fucking done.
So there can be an argument made that we also see those bright colors in fruits, and fruits are okay to eat. But I think outside of fruits, though, and certain vegetables that are brightly colored, man, most neon colors and fluorescent colors in nature mean danger.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure you're right. I'm just saying that's why we developed that sense.
Right, yeah. Like I said, I think it'd be a more interesting conversation to hear between people who actually study psychology. I want like Jordan Peterson to like argue with Aiden Paladin over this shit or something, you know? No.
I'd be more interested to see some, you know, paleontologists and you know, people
you gotta
study evolution.
Yeah, but you got to get a human psychologist in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because they're studying.
No, I don't think this is about psychology, really.
Well, it's a level of psychology because there's different forms of psychology. There's like social psychology, right? And then there's like group psychology, how humans interact in large groups.
No, but we're talking about cones and rods here. We're talking about the function of the eye.
But that's biology. But you also have to get people who understand the brain and how it's developed over thousands of years to bring that in too. You know, I think you'd need like a biologist, an anthropologist, and a psychologist all kind of having that discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all the different fields.
Yeah, but you know, psychologists.
Yeah, because neuropsychologists, for instance, are not the type of psychologists that you're thinking of. Neuropsychologists actually study the brain and how it reacts to stimulus. That's important.
Aren't you talking about neuropsychiatrists?
No, psychiatrists is about psychologists study where psychiatrists heal. That's the difference. Like they study the same things. There's overlap, but psychiatrists are specifically to help people with mental disorders. Psychologists don't have to be licensed to do that. You don't have to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You don't have to be a licensed to be a psychologist. You just have to have a degree. Psychiatrists have to have medical training too.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's what I was going to get at. You know, psychiatrists are actual doctors, and
yes, that's the difference.
Psychologists are like, well, you know, maybe if I just call myself psychologist, I will become one.
Now, some of them, don't get me wrong, because clinical psychologists are usually doctors. So it really depends. It's an ambiguous word because I feel like they overlap. Because psychologists often do what psychiatrists do and vice versa. So there's an overlap there. But some psychologists don't have to be doctors, whereas all psychiatrists have to be. So it's kind of a weird thing. Yeah. But like Jordan Peterson is a perfect example. He's a clinical psychologist, not a psychiatrist. He's a clinical psychiatrist, but he's a doctor. So
yeah, but you know, he's kind of a good example of that, though, isn't he? Because most of what he talks about is just, you know, stuff about Greek legends, and you know, he's not really into how do we fix the fucking brain. This guy is nuts. How do we fix? He's more into the, you know,
no, he is. He has
the soft stuff. You know,
no. Before all this stuff happened to him, and it became more popular in the mainstream, just discussing these things on stage in front of people. Before that, he had patients. He had people that he helped. He had studies. He helped people get better. He helped people come to terms with their problems and stuff like that. That's curing people. I mean, that's what he did. You know. But he got bamboozled because of the whole situation that happened with that protest that made him famous on the internet. He got bamboozled into other things, you know. And he is more interested in the educational side of it. He's interested in educating people more than like getting this person's brain and like figuring out what's wrong with it and then doing an operation or something. Like that's more of a clinical medical side of it, and he's kind of done with that from what I understand. But, you know, that's one thing. I was just using him as an example. I wasn't being a fucking Peterson fanboy, okay? So anybody in the chat who's all pissed off Peterson or something, calm the fuck down. Just using him as an example. I didn't even read his book.
Well, I don't think anyone was pissed at you. It's just, I just want to make clear that I think they're at different levels.
Well, he's had 30 years of clinical practice, so that makes him pretty fucking educated, in my opinion.
He's a really smart dude, don't get me wrong, and obviously he's not at a doctorate level, he's at a professor level. So
no, he is a doctor. He's got a doctorate.
Yes, but then he's also a professor, which is higher.
Yeah, well, obviously, a lot of people eventually become teachers of their profession once they've had enough experience. I mean, after doing 30 years of clinical studies and clinical work.
So he's obviously, he's not just a PhD. He's a PhD with, you know, the added bonus of being a professor.
Yeah, he's got the academics as well, you know.
People are not going to ask you to be a professor if you're not good.
Yeah, but
he's good, and no one can take that away from him.
I just love it when he goes off on the whole, like, I think he's a bit of a troll too, kind of like Trump. Like sometimes he'll just go off and be like, "Life is bloody painful," yeah, you know, like he's always talking about how apocalyptic life is and shit. It's like it fucking pisses people off. I love it. Is it untrue though? Like what I don't get about the people who hate Jordan Peterson is like, if you really listen to what he said outside of like the fancy words, he's saying stuff that like used to be common sense, you know, just like life doesn't give a shit about you. You got to make your way in this world and clean your fucking room, get your life in order. Like that's shit my dad told me, you know, like that shit used to be like the norm of what you would hear from your father, you know?
Well, that's not really the thing that he says that is of importance, though.
No, it's not. I'm talking about some of the stuff that he does.
Yeah, I mean, he does that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, telling a teenager to clean his room, like, yeah,
it's
parents have done that since the Stone Age.
But it's so radical these days because I think that younger people have been so coddled. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got some flaws, but the thing that he does right is that he understands that. Meaning comes from responsibility.
Right. And the left that like to paint him as some alt-right devil are missing that whole fucking point.
Yeah, they just free everything.
Right, he is actually just trying to teach people that they need to have responsibility in their lives in order to find purpose. You know?
Not just to satisfy someone else, but for you to actually be happy.
Yeah, I really, after listening to a lot of his stuff and then listening to the other side, people who disagree with him and stuff, because I like to get multiple points of views and stuff before I make my own educated decision. That's the way regular smart people fucking do things, right? Well, I've come to the conclusion that he is honestly probably outside of maybe Trump and a few other people, he's probably one of the most misrepresented people I have ever seen.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So misrepresented. Like, he'll sit there and be like, we need to have a discussion about this growing, the growing trans community. And then they come out and be like, he hates trans people. That's proof right there. And I'm like, what the? He just said we need to have a discussion about it. That it's a new thing and it's having repercussions on our cultural sensitivities. Like, that's all he's fucking saying. Like, he's saying we need to have that discussion, not shut down that discussion. We need to have that discussion. And then they'll just come out and be like, he hates trans people. He's a Nazi. Like, what the fuck is going on in this world?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like I said, there are some things I don't agree with, but for a very big part, he's still saying some good things that will apply to a lot of people.
Yeah, and once again, even if he was as hateful as they say he is, which he's not
hateful.
He's not. That's
retarded. You can say whatever. You can say that he, sometimes I think he takes his religion bullshit too far, but apart from that, he still has pretty down-to-earth, straightforward, useful advice.
Yeah. I mean, biggest. It's one of those things where it's like there's these segregations. That's where we're heading. People are wanting to segregate themselves from discussions. It's like you're not allowed to talk about that. Well, why not? Well, because you're, a white guy or something. It's like, wait, so I want to try to understand this topic. I'm asking questions, and you're not going to answer them because of something that you labeled me as. It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, geez. Did you hear about the Women's March? Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, the women's march being canceled because of
because they're Nazis. Holy shit! That sword strikes back, huh?
Well, no, they've canceled it because of too many white people showing up.
Yeah, that was like one of the chapters, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, one of the chapters canceled because there's too many white people and they feel there's not enough representation. And the other scandal with the Women's March is that they're fucking anti-Semites.
Yeah, exactly. So they're standing shoulder to shoulder with the Nazis. That's like, wow, what a timeline, huh?
Like, seriously, like, and then people are like, that's not what really happened. Really? There's like video of these people talking about how the Jews need to step aside and shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, Linda Sarsour is literally saying that.
Of all the people, you're going after the Jews, huh? Really?
And people don't understand because, I just end up essentially doing insult comedy on the internet. So, I dress like a fucking clown and entertain people. Mm-hmm. But, people don't. And so people kind of flip out when they don't understand that I literally don't see them any different than the other side. the extremist on the other side. It's like when I got into that long ass fight with the fucking Nazi on Minds, you know, who was all pissed off that I did a meme with a fucking swastika in it. He didn't understand that I don't care how he defines Nazism. I see you exactly the same as communism. And then, of course, he's all like, but they're different. Let me explain the difference. And he wrote out all these like huge different. And I'm like, dude, you're missing the point. All authoritarianism. I hate it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what side you're coming from, man. Fuck you. And so he eventually got so pissed at me that he just kept calling me a Jew. Like, that's the insult for the neo-Nazis, is like they think that we see Jew as an insulting word as they do. So when he's all like, you're a fucking dirty Jew, and I'm like, that's the best you got, retard? Like,
what are you talking about? Yeah.
Thank you for calling me incredibly rich. You know?
Okay. So you're calling me smart, rich, and more likely to succeed?
Right.
Interesting.
Of course, based on the metrics of the United States, that's not true across the board. It's like, I hate those blanket statements. The alt-right Nazis do it exactly the same as the alt-left, you know, regressives.
Okay.
They take a label and then they apply it to everybody. So when the Nazi guy was like, you don't understand, the world's being run by Jews. All the banks are owned by Jews. All the rich people in Hollywood are Jews. And, you know, our whole world's run by Jews. Even Trump is a Jew. And I'm like, wow. Right? Even if that's true, and there's a lot of rich people that are Jews, there's probably millions of Jewish people that are poor, that are not running the world, that are just Jewish, you know, but they're in the same dire straits as everybody else, right? And I hate that shit. It's like, especially when this alt-right neo-Nazi on Minds was going off about how the world's run by globalist communist Jews, right? And I'm sitting over here going, yeah, but the richest man in the world is Mexican. The fuck are you talking about, man? Like, you know, so, I mean, they don't understand that people like us, you and me on Doomed, we don't see them different.
No, and we shouldn't.
Yeah, we don't. When I make fun of a communist, the Nazis go, yeah, Magog's on our side. And then I'll be like, fuck off, you Nazi pricks. Then they go, you fucking communist? You don't even know the difference between communism and what is it, National Socialism. And then they try to explain it to me. And I'm like, you guys don't get it. I understand the difference. I've read books. I've seen documentaries. I just don't like you. Either of you. You are literally the same as me. You're all the same. All of you over there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really, really pretty much the same thing.
And so they call you a Nazi if you feel like you have something to say about something you're not allowed to talk about. And then I'll turn around and make fun of the Nazis, and the Nazis will fucking, you know, flag my videos down and shit. And I'm like, man, I can't fucking win. I can't win.
No, you can't win. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I just don't like throwing that word around like the left does. But when they're really coming out, then yeah, you're gonna have the term. You're gonna own the term.
Oh, obviously. Dude, this guy on mine.
But if I'm gonna apply that term, I'm gonna do it for real. You know, you better have come out and said that you are an anti-Semite and you do like those ovens, you know, then you're going to get the label.
Yeah, I mean, the guy on Minds was a real NatSoc account, and when he tried to prove that he was right and tried to show me the error of my ways, he was sending me videos of things like Hitler was right. And, you know, and stuff like so when I called him a Nazi, it literally applied.
Yeah,
okay? It quite literally applied.
Then it's fine, because I hate the devaluation of words when, you know, people are just throwing out the worst words they can think of in sort of incremental steps until no words have any meaning anymore. I hate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
and that's basically what's happened to the word Nazi. People aren't even offended when they get called Nazi anymore, because everyone's a fucking Nazi apparently. So who cares?
Yeah, it's
but
like
it stems from a horrible ideology that America spent pretty much the entire fucking budget of 5 years to defeat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was called the last great generation for a reason, you know? And that's what I hate about the shutting down of discussions too. I mean, the left is constantly telling us we have no right to talk about, let's say, trans issues. Why? Well, you're not a trans person. Well, then nothing's going to get done. Okay? Because there's like 1,000 trans people out there and none of them have any fucking power. If none of us are allowed to talk about their fucking problems and try to help them and try to understand the situation, then nothing's ever going to get fucking done. Okay? Quit trying to shut down the conversation because you feel slighted on behalf of those people. Okay? Yeah. Okay, it's all fake. It's all fucking virtue signal. It's like, I'm for trans people. Yeah, but you're not trans. Well, no, but I'm for them. I give fuck you. No. Mm-hmm. You know, the rules apply to you too, you little pricks. Yeah. Of course. I hate that shit. And then this attack on comedy. I hate this. The new Louis C.K. thing. I'm sure everybody knows about that, right? Where he said some untoward things on stage.
I've heard about it secondhand. So,
I listened to it and it was.
I haven't heard the tape. So could you just go over it? I just heard it summarized like fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically he had a whole comedy skit about how, you know how entitled these fucking people are because they want to be called something, and he's like, you have to address me as their. Or they them or something like that, and he was like, "Well, I want to be addressed as there because I'm a fucking location." Like he had some pretty harsh jokes, and then he said something about school shootings, which really pissed everybody off. Mm-hmm. To me, whether you like his comedy or not, he's obviously a stand-up comedian. He's doing this in a stand-up club in front of people on stage as a stand-up comedian. There's no doubt in my mind that he's doing comedy.
Wait. That was from a show?
Yeah, it was
that didn't come out in the story I heard. I thought it was like some secret tape from his, like when he's in his office with his closest.
No. Somebody had pulled out their phone and started recording the show. So there was no video. It was audio. At least
right, but it was a show.
Yeah, there were people clapping and laughing, but then there were
Oh my God, who cares? Jesus Christ, it's a show.
Yep. I mean, it's really, George Carlin once said that it's the job of a comedian to find where the line is and then deliberately cross it. Mm-hmm. And now the bastion of free speech in the 60s and the 70s that tried to free comedians from the obscenity laws that were oppressive by the government have now taken up the baton of policing everybody's comedy.
Yeah.
And that is just insane.
What was his name? Bruce something? Oh, the guy before all these other ones. Robert Bruce, maybe?
Oh, Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce, there.
Yeah, Lenny Bruce was kind of the first, man. He
was sort of expecting to get arrested.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he'd show up at his shows and there'd be cops there, and he goes, "Well, tonight's the night."
Yeah.
But he'd do it
same as every night.
Right.
And he'd still do it.
Oh yeah, and that was a real sad situation because he ended up dying, on the run from the government. I mean, New York had the city of New York had a warrant out for his arrest for breaking obscenity laws and stuff. And it's like, that really opened up people's eyes, to the truth about free speech. Free speech, the freedom of speech is not there to protect average, normal, everyday speech. Like me walking up to you going, "Oh, hey, bro, what's up? How's it going? Nice suit you're wearing." It's not to protect that. It's to protect the speech we don't like.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's the only point.
Right. Because if it's there to just protect speech that we like, it's a pointless law because nobody's complaining about the speech that we all like. Nobody's complaining about, people being nice to each other or just talking about normal things and not cursing or anything like that. Nobody cares about that speech. People care about the shit that you're not allowed to say. That's what needs to be protected.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm sure you're the same as me. Is, if people write on my videos that I'm a fucking asshole and whatever, I just leave it there because, okay, that's a nice point,
Right. I mean, like, I don't get me wrong. I engage with trolls now and again just for fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah, sure. But,
but
even when I don't know, I get a shit ton of comments. So I'm not even physically possible. It's not physically possible for me to take care of that. But I still like to just have the satisfaction of letting people say exactly what they want. They want to hate on me, just get in there in my comment section and fucking let loose, man. That's okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that that needs to be kind of talked about too, because it's not just comedy. We're seeing that kind of shift in the arts as well. I'm talking about like the physical mediums because I'm an artist. Okay, that's it's no big secret. I'm a painter. I'm a sculptor. I do all kinds of things, and I've always felt that art was supposed to shock, and art was supposed to challenge, and art was supposed to not just be beautiful paintings, but also to really push boundaries. And at the same time, we're seeing this kind of enemy of art because it's art that just people don't like. But art is so subjective. What do you call art? Like it's very weird.
I think art is so subjective that I'm not even sure those labels that you try to apply to it right now works.
Yeah, well, some art. I mean, obviously, some art is just commercial or it's beautiful paintings. I mean, Thomas Kincaid made a fucking fortune living off of doing Hallmark cards, just beautiful landscapes of Christmas time, a beautiful little, villages and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know who my favorite artist is?
I'm not gonna be pretentious and say anything. I don't. Who? Go ahead and just tell me.
Okay, I thought we maybe talked about it, but strange as it may seem, it almost surprises me myself every time I think about it. But I would have to say Rothko.
Oh, Rothko. Oh, so
yeah, Rothko.
Yeah, you're into abstract colors.
Yeah, it's like the silliest thing ever, right? But those paintings are fucking magical. I don't know how he did that.
Well, he was a color theorist, so
yeah, it shouldn't be possible to do paintings that are that seemingly simple and
right.
and have that effect, but. Ooh, I love me some Rothko.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of Rothko as well, and that's very atypical because I'm typically not a fan of minimalist or not minimalist abstract. I like minimalism, but I don't like abstract as much. But because I like detail work too. I like when something's minimal but has so much reflection in it. Right. My favorite artist is a more classical artist named Gustave Doré.
Okay. I don't know that one off the top of my head.
He's done a lot of famous stuff. Probably mostly made famous by his etchings he did for like Dante Alighieri, the Divine Comedy and things like that, and Milton Paradise Lost and stuff. But I'll pull up his work.
Is it from that same age?
Oh, he's must have been French 1800s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so he did a lot of etchings, which kind of look like pen and ink. They look like scratchboard, actually. He'd carve these really detailed things out of wood, and then he'd print them. They were early printings. I'll screen share this in case people don't know who Gustave Doré is, and present to everybody. So this is Gustave Doré right here. Just really fantastic, like line work and stuff. Very early inspiration for pen and ink, because I love pen and ink. It's one of my favorite art forms. And these are a lot of the pictures he's done for like Milton's Paradise Lost and, you know, editions of it. He wasn't alive when they were first written, but when the French and the English started reprinting those epic, tragic poems about, you know, Catholicism and heaven and hell and the battle between good and evil and stuff, he did a lot of the prints for them. And man, just some of the look at this work, man.
Yeah, is this made to be etched onto things, or?
Yeah, it's an etch. It's an etching. You know, a lot of them were
all of them.
Yeah, most of what he does.
That's his saying.
Yeah, most of what he did. I mean, he did a few paintings. He did one of the
amazing work.
Yeah, here's Lucifer falling. I love that looking. And death sitting upon the world. That's a great etching.
Yeah.
Just real kind of gothic work. You know, look at the lines of archangels flying over hell. Dante's Journey Through the Inferno is probably some of his most famous series. Like here's one, the King Minos. Right. Judging the souls of the damned, and you know, all just fantastic work. I love Gustave Doré stuff, but he did a.
So how about Hieronymus Bosch? How do you like him?
I wouldn't call him a favorite.
No, but he's kind of weird, right?
Oh yeah, he's got some strange shit. But, you know, but this is Gustave Doré's painting of Andromeda. So it's he didn't always.
He's a little bit kinky there.
He didn't always do etchings. He did paintings too. Andromeda, of course, if you know the story of Perseus.
So wait, so if the painting is over 100 years, it doesn't get caught by the filter on YouTube.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
But
so you're not into Hieronymus Bosch.
Oh, I'm into him. I wouldn't call him one of my favorites, but man, that Earthly Desires, man. Fucking hell. What a crazy painting. There's like bird people eating people and shitting them back out. And oh god. What is it? The Garden of Earthly Delights. That's a massively weird, like massive painting. That's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, he has some weird religious tones in there that's like, okay. You kind of figured it would go with Dante's Inferno and shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Probably inspired all by the same stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I got a couple super chats here. $50 says, "Worship Magog, got your photo, fantastic. Glad you got it. Yeah, I sent out a bunch of autograph photos right at the end of the year before Christmas. I'm glad they got to you guys before the holidays." And Nuke the Ice Cap says, can't hang out, dude. Balls deep in a video game right now, but put this towards the Castle Fund. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Nuke. I appreciate that, buddy. Enjoy your video game. Yeah.
That was very nice of him. Mr. Nuke and Mr. Nuke the Ice Caps. There we go.
And I've noted what's going on here. Some people have been timed out. Oh, it's her. Oh, okay. Yeah. One of our trolls is in the chat. And now I guess she's pissing enough people off that they've timed her out. I can't stop that from happening. People have wrenches and you know, okay. I'm a free speech advocate. I wish you guys wouldn't time people out just because what they're saying. But if she was being overly trollish, then you know, obviously, then you know,
I don't know, just troll back.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
troll harder.
Yeah, like I've never banned anybody.
No, but that's the thing. What's the remedy for bad speech? It's more speech.
Right. You know, but like I don't know because I didn't catch it I haven't been looking at the chat until now. So
no.
Maybe she was being.
I have no idea. Maybe she was hiling.
Yeah, maybe she was being overly trollish. Maybe she was saying really, really bad things over and over and over again to spam the chat. I have no idea.
No.
So who knows? You know, I'm not going to be mad that people timed her out. Perhaps it was bad. I can't see the message. So now that they've been timed out, but you know, we should allow people that disagree with us to talk so that we can hear how stupid they are.
Yes, yes. I think so. I mean, light is the best disinfectant.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Dustin is saying she asked to be banned, literally. Oh, that's so she could probably run over to social media and be like, "They banned me. They don't believe in free speech." Oh man, I've just taken to ignoring her because I've gotten into it with her before, and it ended as amicably as I could get it to be to end, and that was it for me. I'm done. She doesn't agree. She'll never see that. She'll never see our point of view. She's not an understanding person. I don't think she's a terrible person. You know, I just think that she's so full of hate for our side, which is so weird because I shift so much on my thoughts that I don't even know if I have a side. That's why I just call myself a centrist. Sure, I make more videos making fun of one side over the other right now because it seems like they are the ones that have power over my life, given that my life is social media and YouTube. These people are the ones running the platforms and banning people and censoring people and demonetizing people, and we've already seen the collusion and the cartel-like behavior of them, especially recently. Whether you agree with what Sargon said or not, he got banned from Patreon for saying something not on Patreon, not even on his channel, on somebody else's stream. And then when he went to Subscribestar, PayPal and Stripe pulled their support from that website to protect Patreon.
Unbelievable.
Fuck you. You know, I'm sorry. I don't get. And why does it become like you defend this very obvious plot by these massive corporations that run everything to get rid of people that they don't like? Makes you automatically like some sort of like Sargon fanboy, you know, just licking at his heels and stuff. Like, I don't get that.
I've thought about, someone might get banned, but Sargon, that was like it never in a million years, the most centrist guy on the fucking internet, the guy who is literally a left-leaning guy who is just frustrated with his own guys, basically. I mean, he wants desperately to have a left-wing government, and he wants those guys to step up, and he's basically looking at it as I just gotta provide some criticism for you guys so you can better yourself. That's basically his point of view.
I think he's changed slightly personally. I think that.
Well, I think maybe he's given up a little bit, but
yeah, I think
don't forget that he spent well, what is it now, like 5 or 6 years at this?
Oh yeah, no, he's
and every time they get worse. So I can understand if he's given up a little bit, but that's where he comes from, and he's but either way, he's really one of the most centrist people on the entire platform.
Yeah, I mean, but what I want to clarify what I said before anybody, before people lose their shit. I think policy-wise, Sargon is left and always will be.
Sorry.
So policy-wise, like governmental policy, he's very left.
No, you dropped out. Coming in.
I think that policy-wise, he's very left and always will be.
Right.
But lately, he shifted socially more to the center, maybe even a little center-right. Alt-right, no. Extreme right, no. That's a bad brush that he got painted with.
No,
but because of his provocative nature, and because he oftentimes takes the side of conservatives over liberals right now, he seems more socially center-right, but politically and policy-wise, left. So it puts him pretty in the center, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the way he's always been.
Yeah, I just think that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. He's if you go back 5 years, he probably wouldn't have had so much glee looking at what Donald Trump does.
Sure, yeah,
But
that's what I mean.
Yeah, and I get it. So people think that he's a Nazi because he thinks it's funny when Donald Trump wakes up in the middle of the night and tweets something funny. But that's, first of all, that's not even his country, and second of all,
yeah, it's not like he's in the streets praising the conservatives of his own country. He hates fucking Theresa May. Like, come on, you know.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Holy shit!
But I really think that, I think that Sargon gets a bad rap because of the same reason why a lot of provocative, controversial people get a bad rap, and it's because he chooses not to have a filter, because he stands on his principle of true free speech and all that stuff. That he will say some shit that sounds really fucked up.
Yeah,
and that's why context is so important.
Yeah, and the British court ruled that context doesn't matter. So.
No, and we can see that. What was that? That one lady got arrested and has to like serve community service because she put rap lyrics on Instagram that had the N-word in it. But the context of that Instagram post was she was posting those rap lyrics in honor of her dead friend because he loved that song.
Context doesn't matter.
He loved that song. And he died in a car accident, and apparently that song was like what they like listened to together. It really spoke to the nature of their friendship, so she posted those rap lyrics. But simply because they had that word, she got arrested and then fucking fined and sent to community service, like 200 hours of community service or some shit. I'm like, gee, wow. Yeah. How long before America's doing this? You know? How long before we get there? You know? We're already seeing stuff. We're already seeing people freak out in public. And if you wear a MAGA hat in public, you're fucking... You know how many people in this country, in America, where we supposedly have free speech, are afraid to talk about things? Are afraid to actually share their point of view. Like, you know, like, I can't remember what video I watched. It could have been, God, it could, because I've watched so many videos lately because of the whole Patreon debacle. But I think it might have been Matt Christensen or one of those, because I was watching their Patreon videos. But it could have been any one of them. It might have even been Ruben, because I've been watching those updates to see if they really are going to form a platform, him and Peterson. But they told a story about like an old man they bumped into in public, and they were talking and having a good conversation. It was just a nice old man walking down the street, and they got comfortable enough in their conversation that old man kind of leaned in and whispered and was like, I support Trump. It's like, why do you feel the need to like whisper that? You know, like, why was he scared to say that too loudly? Well, you and I know the answer to that, and probably most people watching know the answer to that. It's because even though we have free speech in our Constitution, and it is a law, and it is on the book, and maybe the courts would side with you 9 times out of 10, depending on what you've said. But the social pressures these days of having a dissenting point of view is amazingly powerful. Yeah. That is why provocateurs like Sargon, who don't filter themselves, who don't whisper, hey, I kind of like this Trump guy, like, he gets that bad rap because he's also not afraid like that old man is, you know? Yeah. You know, and that is just terrible, you know, that you can't support who you want to support and stuff like that simply because of the possible repercussions of that. And it's not even like he, was cursing or something and was afraid some lady would hear it or some kids would hear it. Like, I self-censor properly in real life. Most people do, right? Like, you're at a restaurant and there's kids around. You're not going to walk in there and be like, what's up, motherfuckers? Fuck yeah. Like, that's not the place to do. Chuck E. Cheese is not the place to do that. Right? you know, some little kid's having his birthday and you're over there throwing the F-bomb around and stuff. That's just the way I was raised. You know, that's a form of self-censorship. Yeah. But the thought that you can't have a discussion with somebody on the street about politics without incurring the wrath of somebody nearby who overheard you is dangerous, in my opinion. It's very dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, especially when it's this arbitrary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure like both sides kind of feel that way. I think that's why we have such a dynamic, hatred for each other politically and socially right now. There's so much divisiveness, is because people who live maybe in the South, where it's mostly conservative, might be afraid to speak about, liking Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
So that could very well be too, but it just doesn't seem to be entirely, it doesn't seem to be like one side or the other. I think both sides do that equally to a certain extent, but it seems like it's happening more on the left simply because they do own all the platforms and they do own the news, except for, the few out there, there's Breitbart and Fox and all them that are on the other side of things. But for the most part, it's like in the day and age where a video of you saying something, even in a joke form, can go viral and become something that hurts your reputation in real life and makes you lose your job and have hate mobs come after you, no matter what side you're on, is an interesting place we found ourselves, and where we haven't adapted to that yet.
Yeah. That basically serves as my vent.
Well, that's why I think political anonymity on the internet is very important, because people like you, you're never going to show your face.
I'd be fired in a heartbeat, and on the job, I bite my fucking tongue.
Right. Because because of the job you have and where you work and where you live in the country. So obviously, geographically, it also depends on where you're at. And I could totally understand why a left-leaning person would be kind of feeling the same way as you do, because they work like at a construction site in the South, which is mostly going to have like fucking Trump people or something like that working at it. It goes both ways. We have lost our understanding with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to judge these things or gauge these things when you're in them, but it does seem like it's worse.
It does to me, and I've had that conversation with other YouTubers who disagree. They think that all the power is on the right neo-Nazis, and because of the Nazis do have some power on the internet. They can form hate mobs, flag down videos, flag down channels. In fact, everybody knows that the links sent to Patreon were sent by some alt-right hate mob and not the left, right? I mean, that I don't know if that's proven or not, but that's the word on the street, yo. I heard it on the grapevine. You have to say that.
Right.
You have to say it like that with that accent, though. I heard it on the grapevine. You have to say it like that because that's how Creedence said it. I heard it on the grapevine. Come on. But at the same time, that's some power. That's social pressure. You get Minds is full of NatSock accounts. I got the attention of one of them, and he ended up tagging some of his friends in because he couldn't win the argument against me. And the reason he couldn't end an argument against me is because I just didn't care about his argument. Like, he's sitting there trying to explain National Socialism and Nazism to me, and I'm like, no, dude, you don't get it. I don't like you. Like, I don't care what you explain. You're a fucking idiot to me,
Well, thank God it was the mind site.
Right. It's like it's kind of like with me arguing that to that Nazi guy was like the scene in Black Sheep when David Spade is playing checkers with Chris Farley. And I felt like David Spade, where I just was making a move, and I finally made a move. And then Chris Farley flips out and he goes, "You know why I always lose? Because you never move your back row." Like I felt like it was that scene. Like, I'm not going to budge. My back row isn't going to move in this checkers game. Okay, I'm not going to budge on on hating Nazis. I'm sorry. I got like, even if you're trying to rebrand yourself and be like, we're not so bad these days. Nazis aren't what they used to be. Yeah, but you're still Nazis.
Yeah, just putting that word in your mouth and defining yourself as that.
Like, I clicked on this guy's page and went to it, and the first thing I saw was his Minds banner. You know how you put a banner up was a fucking swastika. The dude's a self-proclaimed Nazi.
It's a slight warning sign there.
Right. His page was all about Mein Kampf and shit. Like, seriously, I know these people exist. The thing is, like, people ask me why I don't make fun of them in videos as much as I do the left. Well, honestly, it's because I don't find any videos. There's not as much of them. There's not all this, like, so they're still, in my opinion, in that dark, seedy part of the internet that nobody really wants to go to. You know, it's like gross over there, right? You know, it's like, when's the last time you were like surfing YouTube and you get like all these different YouTubers talking about different things and you might have a discussion or maybe you just want to make fun of somebody. But I've never found a channel that was just like, Hail Hitler when they started out. Like, I'm sorry, I just haven't found those videos. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. I don't know.
No, I've never come across that either.
It's like, how come I could come across 1,000 SJW videos and they're on there talking about shit that I obviously disagree with, so I'm going to make fun of them. But I've never come across some guy who was just straight up like, you know, fucking all over Hitler, just like fucking.
No, that's never happened.
Also, I may have pissed that Nazi off when I told him that Hitler Hitler got was taking it up the ass before he blew his own brains out. That might have angered him, because after that, him and his friends just kind of started like sending Nazi memes. They weren't even arguing anymore. It was just pictures. It was just pictures of Hitler over and over again. You know, I think I angered them by implying that their god emperor that is going to rise from the grave one day is was taking it up the ass before he blew his own fucking brains out.
I guess that would probably piss him off.
Right. He was all about the Third Reich. You know what I'm saying, girlfriend?
The Third Reich.
But I mean, no, I you know, it's like, that's why I kind of also understood what happened with Sargon. Like the way he said the things that he said on that stream that got him into trouble over on Patreon, to me, were not, you could tell he was angry, he was upset, the abuse he's gotten, the threats to his family and stuff from these alt-right fucks for months before he did that interview probably weighed on his mind, and he lost his shit a little bit. So I understand that, but it wasn't the best delivery of his thoughts. It sounded really bad. But because I also understand what it's like to interact with people like that on both the left and the right, in context, I can totally get what he was trying to do, because honestly, when it comes to extremists like that, like the Nazis and shit, nothing pisses them off more than using their own words against them. Nothing pisses, I'm sorry, nothing pisses an alt-right neo-Nazi off more than calling them a Jew or the N-word.
Right.
Because in their mind, those are the worst things you can be. So if you call them that, they get really defensive and angry. It's why Sargon got kicked off of Twitter for sending like interracial gay porn to Nazis. Like, that was fucking funny.
Yeah. That was also very sad.
Right. Yeah. Obviously. But I eventually left it alone. Like most trolls, I may interact for a little bit, but eventually I let it be, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do my own thing here. Now, the Patreon situation really hurt, though. I don't know about you, but woo, that was a kick in the balls for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. It was a huge drop-off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So, 2019 hopefully will shape up to be a little better. I plan on shifting some of my content more towards just general comedy or kind of 360 comedy. I'm going to be trying new things. My studio's being built, so I'm going to try all kinds of funny or like real funny comedy skets and stuff like that besides response videos. All new things, trying to do some comedy and some entertainment,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and then I am hoping that maybe some parts of our little side of YouTube, I don't want to say community, because I don't know if it's that anymore with all the infighting. I don't think we're a community anymore. It's been obliterated.
No.
So maybe some of the bigger YouTubers start helping out the smaller ones again. Maybe we can get back to where we were. And I'm going to practice what I preach. I tweeted that out. I mean, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to have like monthly shout outs to smaller channels that I think are really good and really interesting. And, things like that. We need to start pulling together again and just helping each other do fun things,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, I mean, that's a good idea. I'm just not sure it's going to happen, but it's still a good idea.
Yeah, you skeptical bastard.
The wrong word.
That's another thing too. Yeah,
like community and skeptic. You got any other buzzwords you want to throw in there?
This is another thing I hate too. Is some of even on our side of things, words get policed. Oh, don't say that word. It's it doesn't mean what it used to mean. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We have to start being self-aware. Okay, guys, like seriously, if we start policing language just like the other side does, then we're no better. If we start,
that's absolutely not what I was doing.
Yeah, if no, I'm talking in general. I know that's not, you were joking. I get that. No, I'm talking in general. Like I've seen it on Twitter where one moment somebody will be like, "Look at this SJW trying to change the definition of pedophile," and they fucking are. They really are. They're calling them maps now to make it not sound so scary. Oh, I'm a minor attracted person. Go fuck off. You're a pedophile. I'm sorry.
Maps.
You don't like that word anymore. Yeah, maps. Minor attracted persons. Oh, fuck off.
Very, very child friendly.
Right. A child friendly label. But at the same time, that same person will turn around and be like, "Oh, the fucking skeptics. Oh, God, that word's stupid." You're doing the same fucking thing. Skeptic has a definition. I can use it if I want. I am a skeptical person most of the time. I really am. I think that's what makes me so indecisive on certain things too, which makes me center. Sometimes I want to hear all the points of views. That's the point of being a skeptic, is you going, okay, I'm a little skeptical on this thing, so let's hear what you have to say, and you over there, let's hear what you have to say. That's the point. But
yeah. Well, the point with that word is it's been destroyed and it's useless. It's at this point.
Yeah, and I understand that those types of things happen, and I'm just saying that I hate it when that happens, because no matter what side of the political social spectrum it happens on, I hate it when people put that much.
I'm not even sure anyone remembers what side they were on that thing, but the word is just gone.
Yeah. If you call yourself a skeptic with a capital S, as in like a YouTube skeptic, it has a different connotation than it used to have.
Well, I mean, I've said this many times, but the only person I've ever actually heard point blank say, "I am a skeptic," is Steve Shives.
Really?
Yeah. I've never heard anyone else say they're a skeptic.
Well, I'm sure.
Maybe Armin Skeptic because it's in his name.
Right, yeah.
but except for that, yeah, that's Steve Shives. He is a skeptic. And he likes the term.
I guess, man, honestly, I don't even know what he's been. He's not relevant in my opinion. What relevance he used to have, people are bored of it now. He's it's the same with all of them.
I guess, in that sense, he has the exact same relevancy as he had 3 years ago.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But the infighting and stuff like that, I know it's not going to go away, but one can be, I'm always hopeful around the new year. The New Year's Eve rolls around and I start tweeting out things like, "Come on, let's have this next year be better, folks. And let's work together more and do more shows together and more collabs. And let's get back to that, let's get back to working together and helping each other." And yeah, I know it's probably not going to happen, but what can I say? I'm a optimistic person this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's better than not being, yeah.
Well, I think the problem is there's only so much audience to go around depending on what you talk about on YouTube. It's so easy to get 1 million subscribers when you I don't know, like those toy channels. Man, those are so massively popular. They just appeal to the mainstream. Kids watch them, and they get millions and millions of views.
Well, you can't do that. So
right, but I'm not that type of content creator. I'm sorry, I can't do stuff like that. So, and comedy is always going to be, in my opinion, I really feel like comedy, controversial comedy, when your comedy is based on social issues or political issues, especially, that kind of comedy has been forced underground. And it just means nowadays underground is the internet. Whereas in the old days, when that kind of comedy was forced underground, it was like private clubs, very small venues. People like that had that kind of controversial comedy did not become big and famous and have Broadway shows and stuff like that and do big shows in Vegas. They had little dingy, bar shows and stuff like that.
But it is really bad that we don't have free speech like we used to.
Yeah, it's so weird because we do legally. Like, okay, let's say that, for instance, Sargon was an American and he lived here and he said those things and Patreon banned him. That is more of a social / corporate response to what he said. But if somebody had tried to take him to court over what he said, the person who took him to court would have lost.
Yeah, of course.
So the free speech is still protected under law, right?
Yeah, sure, but
so we're kind of a half and half. We do live in a country where we still have the law that protects us from.
Well, hold up. No one would have convicted him for saying it, but I'm not saying that he would have won in comparison to their terms of service, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We have the law, but now we have this social pressure that's pushing against the law. Where in other countries like England, they don't have that law, which is why you can be arrested for posting rap lyrics on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just a social pressure, it's also a legal pressure.
Last year, it was more than one person a day.
Oh, yeah. No, it's even more now. It's like 6,000-7,000 people a fucking year and shit. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
People are being arrested for shit they put on their fucking internet.
Oh, yeah. It was up to 8,000, right?
Yeah, it's like 8,000 people a year.
Holy shit.
And in England are being arrested for things they put on their social media, which boggles my mind because it gets it's not that the platforms are reporting these people to their local police. It's that other people seeing the post are doing it. So they're starting to create that social atmosphere that the Nazis had in Germany, where they knew that all they had to do, like say you didn't like your neighbor, all you had to do is like just insinuate to the Gestapo that guy, he might have a Jewish cousin. So he might have a little Jew in him. And before you know it, your neighbor's gone.
Yeah, and then you get his apartment.
Right. And then you take a shit.
I wonder how that worked out.
And that's the atmosphere they're creating in Europe. And they don't even realize it because it's not the platforms reporting these people. It's the fucking people who see it. Yeah. You think the girl who posted rap lyrics on Instagram got reported to the police by Instagram? No. It was somebody saw that, got offended, and then we're like, oh, I know her because I follow her or whatever. I know where she lives. I'll call the local authorities. And then the police are the ones who did the investigation, found out who she is and where she lived, and went and fucking arrested her. It's like we've gotten over there in England, they're creating, and it's kind of happening here in America, they're creating a social atmosphere of tattletales.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that whole saying, snitches get stitches? Like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did that go?
I don't know, man.
Boy, we really got into it. I guess I had a lot more to say on this day than I thought,
Yeah, but I don't really know how to tackle that problem.
Yeah. The Amazing Critter Man says, I got the autograph photo too, but why are you nude in it, and why does it say "To Undoomed with Love"?
Well, I guess he just loves me a little bit more than you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I sent that one to the wrong address. My bad, Critter Man. Hey, interesting discussion. I like talking to you, Undoomed, especially because I feel like we kind of have the same kind of ideas on what's going on. I just also think that it's an interesting conversation because we differ on how to maybe tackle it, you know?
Yeah.
But because you can't always talk with people who 100% agree with you all the time, right? And, you know, just because we're friends doesn't mean we 100% agree on everything. And that is a good thing. You should never 100% agree with anybody. Honestly, you really shouldn't.
No.
That just means you're part of a cult.
I mean, you should seek to disagree, but you should always disagree when it's normal or you're standing your ground.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like what's going to happen in this new year. I mean, it was such a bad timing too with Patreon because I mean, so many people. And once again, I don't.
I'd really like to see some of their internal numbers for revenues and shit. I wonder what happened.
God, I wonder how much money they actually lost because the last thing I saw about them, how much they make, is I think they pull in about $12 million a month as a company. Which means they make enough off of people donating to the percentage they take, that 5% or whatever. They take that, and that's their profits. So even if they lost $2 million a month, they're still not going anywhere. They make a shit ton of money, right? But it would be interesting to see.
Most companies still live kind of hand to mouth, though.
Sure, yeah, because they also have a lot of output,
overhead
and stuff. You know, they also have to pay tons of employees, and they have office building rent, and you know, all kinds of shit, servers to maintain, and all kinds of stuff. And so they have to pay accountants and lawyers, teams of lawyers and stuff when you get a company that big. But I would be interested because quite a few bigger people that were on Patreon quit, and God knows how much they were pulling in. And Jordan Peterson and Rubin announced today that they're both quitting on January 15th. They're both getting off of Patreon.
Okay.
So they're hoping that by then Subscribestar has fixed their problem, or by then they'll have their own platform launched.
I would suspect that they would have some option.
Now, I know Rubin was probably making around $40,000 a month. That was the last I saw. That's how much he was pulling in, enough to like pay all his employees and run his business and everything. It was like 70% funded by Patreon.
Yeah.
Donations. But Peterson, God, he must have been making, I mean, before he hid his number publicly, you know how you could like hide the number? Before he did, he was making like $80,000 a month.
Yeah.
So he's
probably one of their best cash cows.
Yeah. He's got to be in the top like 15. And so I think that if he was making like 80 plus or 100,000 a month, that's going to be a big hit just from him. And Rubin was making like 30, 40,000 a month. And then you get people like, was it Harris that left? He was like in their top 5. And then there's this non-political channel. Oh God, what was it called? I don't know. It was some like D&D or something like that. It was like Swords and Shields or something like that left as well. I mean, they were like in the top 5. Sam Harris, and when Sam Harris left, it was crazy because he was in there like top 10 or whatever. Like, I've been following this situation, and they've had to have lost at least $1 million a month so far. They've had to, and I think it comes from a certain kind of point of view coming from them. Here's where Patreon also fucked up. They thought that they pay us. That's the way they see it. In their mind, they're paying creators and helping to, in their words, fund the creative class. They have forgotten that they're just the mediaries between us and our fans. I don't get paid by Patreon. I get paid by my fans. I pay Patreon to process that.
Do you have some sort of network set up?
The what?
Network?
No, I mean, it's the nature of what they actually do. They don't pay us with their money. They're taking money from our fans who are giving us the money and processing it for us, and we are willing to pay them a fee to do that. They are our employees, not the other way around.
Right.
But Patreon over there is all got it in their heads, their big fucking heads, that they fucking run the show and that they're helping to fund the creative class and pay all these people. Bitch, you're my banker. That's all you are. You're my fucking accountant. you know? Mm-hmm. That's what they forgot. And that was revealed to me. That was revealed in their interview with New York Times. When Conte said in the interview, "Oh, you know, this whole situation has just given the excuse of some creators to, to create like a movement because they're tired of paying the 5% that we charge them." Like, are you fucking kidding me, Jack? You made this about the 5% that you take from us? None of us had a problem with that 5%, bro.
Yeah, it's like, I guess that's the only thing they can do.
What a lion sack of shit. That's why I've ultimately decided to leave as well. I will be seeking monetary support directly from my fans via other means. That those announcements will come on the main channel here in a few weeks. I plan on, doing some stuff on my own.
I just haven't seen any alternative. They just kill it as soon as it pops up.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Subscribestar is working, and it looks like they're about to get something done. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But and any alternative that does pop up, I will still join that alternative on the off chance that people just want to give me like $1 a month or something like that and would rather do it through some platform like that. But I'm hoping to fund directly from my fans by selling unique merchandise that you can't just get in a Teespring store. I'm going to be doing these art prints, and it's something special, and it's sold under the auspice that they are going to fund my entire show as well as the bigger projects. If they just buy this art print one time, if enough people buy this art print one time, they can fund my whole year, and I ain't got to worry about nothing. So that's just the direction I'm going to try to go, and we'll see how it works. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll see. But I that's why I like the video I did on Patreon, because I felt like everybody talked about the New York Times article, and they talked about the Matt Christensen interview with Jacqueline Hart and all that stuff. I felt like those points had already been made. So I took a more unique point of view and actually had found an old job posting for the trust and safety team from Patreon, posted on a job website. Now that job was already filled, but the posting was still up. And when I found it, I noticed that one of the things listed under what you would do if you got this job is to help creators when they unknowingly break terms of service.
Okay.
And so I went to Patreon, and they had a trust and safety job posting up that they had just posted 3 days ago, and I compared the two. And the new job posting that was just posted 3 days ago did not have that anymore. It was pretty much cut and pasted. Both job postings said the same thing, except it was missing the whole help creators when they unknowingly break terms of service. That was just mysteriously gone. And I thought that was a really unique point of view on the Patreon situation, which is why I chose to do that video that day. Even though I'm on vacation, I wasn't supposed to do a video while I'm on vacation. I was trying to just take it easy. But I felt like it really needed to be talked about. Have I lost you? Hello? Am I still live? I think we lost Undoomed. Undoomed. And he passed out drunk. Oh, that's all right. We were about to end it anyway. This was hitting the 2-hour mark. Everybody, I bored Undoomed to death. Isn't it exciting? I got Undoomed the Insomniac to fall asleep. Praise me and my power. Crazy Loon throws a sign in the chat, says, my lord, will there be a song of cringe and ire about the Patreon war? I don't want to prematurely announce anything, but I will say that the discussion has been had. We'll see what happens. Well, like, once again, I said I am trying to kind of enjoy my last few days off of the year, you know. James Colley says, good morning, Lord Magog and Undoomed. Undoomed, he either passed out drunk or has had technical difficulties. Who knows? You never know. Live shows can be like this sometimes. So I'll just hang out with the chat for a minute or two, and then I'll probably bring it to an end. We were reaching the 2-hour mark anyway. I hope you all enjoyed this little discussion. Me and Undoomed just kind of hanging out, chilling. Probably won't be the last time. We like to hang out and talk and, you know, shit like that. So, but it is all right. Anyway, so maybe this was a revealing conversation. I don't know. I don't really have any final thoughts. I think I've made my points pretty clear and talked about some stuff that has been on my mind with this Patreon situation and the general feeling of the social and political heading into 2019. It's definitely going to be an interesting year. Crazy Loon says, also, my lord, I use neither Facebook nor Twitter. How can I contact you to send you something? It's a good question. If you have neither of those platforms, then you can email me to my fan email at dearmagog@protonmail.com, and I will put that in the chat. Dear Magog. And I will try to check that as much as I can. I've made it a point to try to check my messages and my emails and stuff like that as much as a lot more than I did in 2018. I'm going to be a little bit more dedicated to stuff like that. Jables Boogly says, damn, I wanted to continue our discussion we had a couple weeks ago about Patreon. Oh, yeah, for sure. But perhaps another day, now that Undoomed kind of passed out or whatever, or is having technical difficulties, one of the two. Or just straight got bored with me and decided to go for a walk. Who knows? Who knows? Scissoring the portals? Yeah, for sure. Got to do that. And I do have a renovated and updated Discord server. Thank you to Gray Summers, who I put in charge of that because I don't know shit about Discord. You have a wrench, so if you want to put Gray, if you want to put the link to the Discord, I really don't know how that works. not like the permanent link, like I don't know how to create that or anything. I know how to send somebody like a temporary link, but it goes away after a while. I haven't really looked into that. But if you want to put it in the chat for people to join the Discord server, I pop in there now and again and say hi to people and stuff. So, if you want to do that, yeah, good times. Oh, fix my chair. Anyway, this was fun. I wouldn't say I'm a boomer, because I use a lot more social media and stuff like that than boomers. I just don't care about Discord all that much as far as I guess I would care about it if I understood it better, but I've just always had problems with Discord. Like when I try to talk to people, like their mics cut out and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it just didn't feel very stable to me. Maybe things have changed though. I'll check it out, Are you going to be doing retro gaming streams? Asked Fletch. No, that's not really Magog's thing. Sorry. And I could never imagine just sitting down for hours playing a video game and trying to talk over it to entertain people. That's just not really what I do. I don't even think I play video games in real life for that long. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for everybody for coming by. I appreciate you guys listening, and to everybody who donated. I did have Streamlabs, so let me check that one time just in case something's over there. Nope, looks good. Just didn't want to miss anything is all. Thanks for watching or listening to the Unprofessionals. I want to thank Undoomed for dropping by, even though he had to bounce out for whatever reason. Things happen. Life happens. Thank you all for coming in and listening to us rant and rave and talk to each other, and appreciate all the wonderful donations and the comments in the chats. You guys are awesome. Thanks for your support, and we'll catch you guys later. I'm going to end it here. There'll be more of these though. I'm really going to get into the habit of doing more shows and stuff for you guys, especially on the live stream channel. I really enjoy this format sometimes. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the evening or morning, wherever you live. And man, Happy New Year. You guys are awesome. And we'll keep on keeping on in 2019.